Greetings and salutations. This is Mama Roo from Mama Roo's Ancestral Musings. You can find me on Twitter at Mama Roo HH. You can find me on Tumblr as Mama Roo. You can follow my Facebook page at Minati Wilson. And I also have a page there for my business, tarot and cartouche reading at Mama Roo's Head in Hand. Hope everybody's had a great weekend. I know I have. Today is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers and to all of the men who are father figures for others. Today's episode is about love and your ancestors. There has been a lot of conversation lately and for a while now about male-female interactions in public places versus on the internet. And what I'm noticing is the younger generation, you 20-somethings and early 30-somethings, you guys have a very different attitude about social interactions with, the opposite sex or, potential mates or whatever. Greeting each other in public is now like a huge topic of contention for a lot of people. All I have to say to that is, I guess it is a generational thing, because I met my husband on the street. He greeted me on the street. I greeted him back, and there was just something about him that made me want to get to know him. And that's just the long and short of it. We've been together 26 years now. So there's a lot of, just negative feeling about that. Now, that's not to say that in my day I didn't have a bunch of knuckleheads creeping up on me talking that bullshit. Like, yo, Slim, can I walk with you? And I'm like, oh, no, I'm cool. Well, fuck you then, bitch. And they might go on and say other stuff. We had that too back in the day. I would hope that kind of stuff don't, just played out over time. But apparently, from what I'm seeing, that kind of crap still exists, and it's just stupid. Fellas, whoever told y'all that was the right way to address the sisters, they lied to you. Okay? But let's get into it. Love and the ancestors. How can the ancestors play a role in our love lives, in our relationships, in finding good, long, true, lasting love? How does that work? Well, as I've said before, we are our ancestors returned, okay? We carry them with us in our bloodlines, okay? That's just the long and short of it. But we also carry them in the spirit, okay? We carry our ancestors with us in the spirit. Our ancestors love us more than anything or anyone in the universe. So our happiness is also theirs. Our joy, also theirs. Our blessing, also theirs. Okay? So it's important to them that we have good, loving relationships, that we have happiness, that we are loved, and that we are loving. Okay? So how can we acknowledge that? How can we, interface with our ancestors, and how can we appeal to the ancestors to sort of, get things rolling for us so that we can experience those things, those of us who happen to be single, or if you're coming out of a relationship and you're not sure if you want to even get back into it, but you know that you don't like being alone. You know you want to share your life with someone. So how can the ancestors fit into that? Well, here's how. Okay? If you haven't already begun, start honoring your ancestors. Honor them. Okay? Honor your ancestors, known and unknown, seen and unseen. Make a special place in your home. Okay? Make a special place somewhere on your property. Okay? If you just want to stand in front of a mirror in your bathroom, your dressing room, your bedroom, and just look at yourself, because we are our ancestors. So when you look at yourself, you're looking at them by default. Okay? And just by putting it out there that you're physically, in that moment, acknowledging everyone who lived and loved to make you possible in this particular moment in time, that right there is the key. That right there is the spark that sort of sets things in motion. Okay, because how does the saying go? Out of sight, out of mind. In this case, out of mind, out of sight. All right, so just acknowledging that they're there and also within us is enough to start things moving in your life. Now, when it comes to love drawing, okay, bringing the people who are right for us into our lives, all right, that is a valid concern to lay at the feet of your ancestors. Okay, they want to see you enjoying yourself. They want to see you having a good time. They want to see you happy. Okay. So one thing that you can do is appeal to them and say, ancestors, I know that my happiness is your happiness. Clear my path and allow my one true love to find me. Clear my path of any obstacles or any interferences that are preventing that one true love from finding me. Okay? Clear my path so that I can find them. I know that there's somebody out there that is just right for me. Clear my path, ancestors, and allow it to be. You can say whatever you want to say. Speak from the heart. Okay? And as always, offer your ancestors some clean, cool water. Offer them some black coffee. Offer them a white candle. Offer them some fresh cut flowers. Okay? And these are the bare minimums. Over time, the offerings will become a little bit more elaborate, but you will know. Okay? Something might pop up in your mind as you're out shopping and your eye catches onto something that you normally wouldn't buy for yourself, but you see it and you go, oh, I heard so-and-so, such and such, used to fancy this, or used to like this. This was, their favorite snack or whatever. Pick that up. Go ahead. Get it and put a little bit of it and offer it to those ancestors. Okay? If you are in a relationship, but things aren't going quite the way you want them to go, you can present those concerns to your ancestors to help push down a lot of that, worrisome energy and all that negativity or whatever. If there's just been a big blowout, it's not necessarily relationship threatening or whatever, but it's a little tense. It's intense and uncomfortable and awkward. Appeal to your ancestors. Ask that they cover you and your relationship with peace. Ask that they bless you with cooler minds. Ask that the peace be restored between you and your loved one. And see, won't that energy shift more to your liking? Okay? The ancestors have a way of seeing our lives further down the road than we can. As a seer, I have the ability to sometimes take a peek into those timelines, from ahead, and give you some messages based on that. But even my abilities can be limited, okay? So when you appeal to your ancestors, sometimes things that aren't meant for us because of, the potential for negativity or harm that lays somewhere down the road in the timeline, they'll see that, and they can cause disruption in a relationship that might not be good for you, that might not be healthy for you, okay? So they can move folks who mean you no good out the way, even though you don't necessarily see it to be so. So keep that in mind when you start appealing to your ancestors for your love life, because they are very protective over you. Oh, yes. Okay? They will drag somebody on your behalf. They will fight. Yes, they will. They will kick ass on your behalf. And so if they get the idea, the inkling, and the notion that somebody that you're kicking it with right now might end up hurting you down the road emotionally, psychologically, even physically, something might happen to them. Okay, and I'm not necessarily saying that anything that happened to them is because your ancestors tagged their ass, but you know what? It's possible. It just depends on how, good you are with your ancestors. Okay, yeah, it works. It works out that way. I have seen things happen that has ancestors' hand all up in it. That's just one of the things that I can sometimes see in the readings that I do for folks. Let's say you are single and you're online dating. You're in one of those online matchmaking types of services, and you've got like 5 potential candidates or suitors, and you might look at one and say, okay, well, they're attractive, but their profile is a little iffy, or vice versa. They're not that attractive to me, but their profile, oh my goodness, they're like perfect. But you're still on the fence, and you really don't feel comfortable about any of them. Maybe you've gone out on 1 or 2 dates already, and you're still kind of, I don't know. There's enough there to make you interested, but you're still kind of iffy about taking things to the next level. Again, take these concerns to your ancestors. You can print out those pictures and profiles and put them on your ancestor shrine and say, ancestors, if any of these people is right for me in terms of happiness and joy, on into the future, if this is the future husband or wife for me, then move everybody else away and let that one who is for me be known to me. So there'll be no doubt about it. Okay? That's something that you can, in fact, take to your ancestors and see what kind of results you get. When we think about, long-term relationships, we cannot ignore the history of our enslaved ancestors. Think about what they went through with regard to their love relationships, not just romantic love, but familial love as well. Remember that one of the harshest, most devastating punishments slave masters could inflict on the enslaved was the separation of family and loved ones. From that first separation from the motherland, where our ancestors were ripped away from their lives, ripped away from their loved ones, okay, all the way to this land where they developed associations and developed relationships, developed, marital relationships and families and children, with the fear of going to bed at night knowing the possibility of them waking up and having one or more of their family members gone was a very, very real possibility. Okay? Think about that. And think about why those ancestors would be so keen on blessing us in our love relationships. Because we have the freedom of maintaining and sustaining our relationships without the threat of anybody being snatched away because of the cruelty of the evil ones. Okay? Think about that joy that our relationships, our marriages bring to our ancestors who may have suffered that kind of cruelty during their lifetimes. Okay, I'm talking about our, in the relative sense, our more recent ancestors, the ones that started us on this land as Black American folks. Okay, think about that and what that implies and why they are so interested in our love lives. Okay, why it's so important for them that we have the happiness of knowing stability and security in our relationship.